pretty much the basic on vegetables. We are going to cover a little product identification, the I guess the different categories of vegetables, if you will. We're going to talk about a little sanitation on vegetables, peeling, washing, purchasing, storing, and how to receive them, and what you're looking for and what you don't want. And then I'm going to let you guys break off into groups of 2, and you will work as a team to select 3 different vegetables and select 3 different cooking techniques and kind of experiment on which ones you like on different vegetables. And this way we can have a better understanding of which vegetables work better with different cooking techniques and which is more palatable and brings your flavor out for you. So again, this is vegetables. The human diet wouldn't be complete without vegetables. They pretty much make up almost all of our, or a good chunk of our, what we consume every day. 65–90% is pretty much just water filled with vitamins, minerals, oils, and other essentials. It's important to understand the flavor of vegetables and what they do to your dish as a whole, because in the restaurant industry, almost every dish has some kind of vegetable on it. I mean, you could have, if you wanted to, a Philly cheesesteak with nothing else but your steak and your bread, and you could throw some dairy in there or cheese, or you could put vegetables such as red peppers, such as onions, and just play with it, or just go completely different and do, do like a slaw, if you will, a vegetable slaw into your Philly cheesesteak. And I mean, it just makes things, I think, so much better with vegetables. As here, I mean, you can tell that vegetables are vibrant. They come in different shapes, sizes, and I mean, they could be the main course if you have a vegetarian diet, or they could just accompany your proteins. This is kind of, I mean, there's some fruits mixed into here, but as you can see, I mean, a lot of them are vegetables. When it comes to grading vegetables, or how they grade them when you want to order them, most vegetables are, the highest level is extra fancy, then it's going to go US extra fancy, then it's going to go US fancy, then it's going to go extra #1, and then #1. Now, we don't need to always purchase US extra fancy. The only time I would really say that you want to purchase maybe extra fancy is if that's going to be your focal point. If you're doing a tomato mozzarella salad or whatever, and you want your heirloom tomatoes to just look beautiful, you might want to go to your local market and get extra fancy heirloom tomatoes, because they're just going to look so much better. However, if you want #1, say onions, because you're making a French onion soup, you might want to go with #1 onions or extra #1, which is kind of a lower grade, because I mean, they're going to get sweated out, and you're going to add in like your beef stock and all your other, your rosemary and everything else, which is kind of having your onions extra fancy is almost kind of like a waste, because you're not showcasing them as much as you could be. For storing, most starches, starch vegetables such as like potatoes, butternut squash, more starchy vegetables, you want to store those at almost room temperature, between 60 and 70 degrees dry. When you start to get cold, you start to lose flavor, you start to lose texture, and they start to almost break down more. For other types of vegetables, like your leafy greens, other types of squashes, carrots, you kind of want to have those in the fridge between 41 degrees, well, a little bit below 41 degrees, but obviously above freezing, because you don't want to freeze them. Kind of, you do. We'll talk about that later. And then another grading category is onions, potatoes, and carrots. They're on an alphabet grading system, so A is the highest, and then it goes down from there. So another way you can purchase vegetables is you can get them canned or frozen. So obviously when you get them frozen, they're flash frozen. So for snow peas, for instance, if you purchase snow peas, they're flash frozen. So this way it holds in all the nutrients and they don't start to deteriorate as they're freezing in a fridge, which is going to take several times, well it could take up to an hour or more before they completely get frozen. So leafy greens can be served raw or cooked. Such greens such as mustard greens, spinach, Swiss chard, turnip greens are strong and spicy in flavor. Greens should be bright in color and should show no signs of browning spots when you purchase them. These are signs that they're starting to deteriorate a little bit if they don't have brown color. Cooking greens inactivates the enzymes which tone down the notes of leafy greens and other aromas become more pronounced. Which, I mean, only makes sense. Mustard greens, they taste delicious raw, but you start to cook them, a little salt, a little pepper, cook them and saute them in oil, and the flavor is just so much more. It's almost out of this world. I would eat that by itself. So here's a couple greens. We got our Swiss chard up top, your mustard greens, arugula, this is spinach down here, and your sorrel over there. All these greens obviously come out of the ground. Root and tuber vegetables. Root vegetables are deep tap roots of the plants, and tubers are the fat underground stems. And this group beets, carrots, parsnips, turnips, and radishes. Potatoes are the most common tuber. They should be firm, unwrinkled, and gray color. You don't want to squeeze them. Or like if you hold up a turnip and it's like flopping over, that's not a good sign. That's a sign that it's starting to go. I mean, you could use it for other things, like if you wanted to braise with it, that would be a way that you can kind of use those kind of products, but for the most part, if you're going to receive them, they should be firm, unwrinkled, and great color. So, for instance, carrots come in a whole array of colors. You have your russet potatoes, your sweet potatoes, which are down over here. You can almost see them, guys. You see how they're bright orange? That's perfect. They come in a lighter orange, and usually if it's in a lighter orange, they're not as sweet. If it's nice, dark, vibrant orange color, the sweetness is there. It's almost like brown sugar, if you will. The Yukon potatoes, you can't see the name down there, but those are Yukons. They're kind of like, they're a waxier. These, they kind of call them like a meaty potato, and the Yukons are a waxier potato, just like your red potatoes. And then parsnips, and then beets also come in different colors. You have purple, you have red, yellow, and something. I guess I can do this until it comes up. What did I miss, Joe? Anyway, another category is squash and gourds. Squashes are large families that include over 750 different types of squashes. They range in peak seasons, colors, shapes, weight, and can be classified by white or summer squashes. Gourds can be identified by their large root system that develop their veins and have large leaves to them. They generally grow in warm regions. They both should be firm, free of bruises, and free of mold. Bulb vegetables are mainly used for seasoning and flavoring. The most common bulb vegetables are